What do you respond to President Trump that is asking more defense spending from Germany?
Well, actually, we, in the summit in Wales, NATO decided on the goal to have defense spending at 2% in 2024. This is a goal that the Obama administration already asked us to fulfill, and he was right, because Europe has to carry a fair share of the burden. Therefore, we, the Europeans, we have to increase our defense spending.
Have you found a way of communicating effectively with the Trump administration?
Oh, yes. We have a strategic dialogue. Jim Mattis, my colleague, is an enormously reliable and wonderful colleague in that, and we have a strategic dialogue on that. And when you look at the modernization of NATO over the last 2 years, Germany has been in the forefront in the VJTF, in reassuring our eastern partners in Latvia, in Lithuania, and really to invest into the modernization of NATO.
General Mattis is distracted by Turkey and the ageless discussion of Turkey and the Kurds. Germany has a unique relationship with Turkey, I would suggest, across generations. How will your nation adapt and adjust to the recent activity of the Turkish government against the Kurds?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to acknowledge that it is Turkey's right and duty to protect its citizens from PKK terror. And it is right that the Syrian Kurds did not clarify the distance to the PKK. But, and this is the big but, the reaction has to be appropriate. And we call for de-escalation because there will be no military solution in that area. We all relied on the Syrian Kurds to free Raqqa, so I'm very grateful that the Security Council called for de-escalation too.
Within these important comments, are you getting support from President Trump? Within the discourse, whether it's economics or politics, does Germany and does Chancellor Merkel feel more alone now because of the actions of the Americans when we see these flare-ups, such as in Syria and Turkey?
Well, first of all, we have since decades a very strong relation to our American friends, and we know this is a very stable foundation we can rely on. And there's a second point. The Trump administration once again opened our eyes that, and this is true, Europe has to stand up, take on its responsibility, and if we want to deal with the problems in our neighborhood, be it Africa, be it near the Middle East, or be it Ukraine, these are our problems. We have to deal with them. Nobody else will solve them for us, so we have to get organized.
Minister, I want to go back to the NATO outlined defense spending goal of 2% of GDP. Your current and potential future coalition partner in German politics, the Social Democrats, have rejected this 2%. So do you have an agreement with them on what would happen were you to form a new coalition with them?
The German armed forces, after reunification, went through a period of 25 years of cost cutting. And 2 years ago, I made the turnaround. We have increasing budgets now, but 2 years are not enough. We will need way more years. And the most important factor for our talks with the Social Democrats is if you want to send your armed forces abroad in missions, they have to be equipped in a modern way, and that needs investment.
So do you see them backing down on this demand, and do you see this as one of the major issues in this upcoming coalition talk?
It will be one issue because I think, and I'm convinced, Germany is a reliable partner. We set that goal together with the Social Democrat actually in Wales 2014, so we are reliable.
You have lived this. I mean, a lot of people don't know that when you were in London at the London School of Economics, you had to go under a pseudonym because of worry about terror in your family. Your family, back to the 19th century, were acclaimed industrialists of Germany. Is there a generational change going on now in Germany, moving from the ghosts of the middle of the 20th century through what we've seen to a new Germany where defense will be discussed differently? Is it with this election, this struggle over coalition, is it really about a generational change?
It is insofar a change that we are convinced that it is a historical moment now for my generation to regain Europe My father's generation built Europe from the horror of the war. But my generation took it for granted. And now we have to regain Europe, renew Europe, because we want a modern Europe in this modern world.
Minister, I know you have to go, but when do you think a new government will be sworn in?
I hope Easter is a good date, around Easter.
All right.